Hi, second grade. This is Miss Acton. I'm here to teach you reading again. And this week we're moving on to a different standard, so no more poems. We're moving on to informational or nonfiction text. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the standard to you that we're going to be learning. There's some vocabulary that needs to be taught in there too, that way you understand some of the words that are in there. And then I'm going to show you an example with just an illustration, and then an example with an actual text. And that way, whenever you do your own work this week, you'll be able to complete it using the examples that Miss Acton taught you. The text that you're going to be using for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week is the exact same text. The standard is one of the tougher ones in second grade, and so I didn't want to make you have to read 3 different articles or 3 different books. I wanted to stick with the same text, and then each day just make the questions a little bit difficult, a little bit harder, kind of push you guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is introduce the standard to you. This week's standard state is RI 2.8, and it says that we can describe how reasons support specific claims the author makes in a text. That's a lot of fancy words, a lot of big stuff. So now we're going to break down what some of those words are in there. So basically, an author creates a text. They decide to write about a certain topic, whether it's a type of animal, a machine, a person, a time in history. And specifically today, I'm going to be reading you a text about the Titanic. And this author is writing for a specific reason. She's writing this article about the Titanic. So first, let's talk about the word claim. A claim is what you think, or your opinion, or what an author thinks, or what an author's opinion is. And their opinion can be that they don't like this animal, or they love this animal, or that there's some really cool things about this person that was a person in history, or there were some things that they didn't like about this person. But either way, when an author starts writing something, they typically have a claim, what they think or their opinion about the topic that they're talking about. Another word that you're going to need to know is support. Support goes along with claim. It just helps to prove the claim. So when someone says that they don't like this animal, they usually give 2, 3, 4, or several supports that prove this claim. And it basically just supports what their opinion was or what they think. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a example of this with just a picture. And this is one of my favorite pictures. So here is a picture of my baby girl. This is Esri. She is playing in a ball pit. So right now, I'm the author of this picture. I took a picture of it, so I'm the author, I'm the creator. I'm going to make a claim about it, and my claim is that this baby girl loves this ball pit. She's having fun in this ball pit. That's my claim. She has fun in her ball pit. Now, that's my claim. That's what I think. That's my opinion about this picture. Now I need to give my audience, you guys, reasons to support it. I need to support my claim. One way that I support this claim is that she's smiling. Usually babies do not smile unless something is making them happy or they're enjoying doing something. So my first support for my claim that she is a happy baby in her ball pit is that she's smiling. One that's a little bit more hidden, but my last claim that I have, or my last support that I have for my claim that she is happy in her ball pit, is her bottom little foot is blurred, which means that she was moving them really, really fast. And when babies are happy, they tend to kick their legs too really, really fast. So my 2 supports that I have for my claim, my 2 reasons that support it, are she's smiling and she's kicking her legs. And that's why my claim that she loves her ball pit, is happy in her ball pit, that's how I support my claim. So going back to our standard, how we're going to describe how reasons support specific claims the author makes in a text, we need to go to a text. Kind of gave you a little example with my little picture, but now we need to actually do it in a text because that's what you're going to be doing for Miss Acton, okay? So the text that we're reading today is called Remembering the Titanic, and it is actually written by a woman named Andrea Silin. I think that's how you say her name. So I'm just going to read this text to you really, really quick, but as I'm reading it, I want you to tell yourself, what is our author's claim? What do they want you to take from this article? So obviously it's about the Titanic, but does she like the Titanic or does she hate the Titanic? Does she think the Titanic was awesome or does she think it was a lousy idea? You need to be figuring out what her claim is. And then once you figure that out, and usually in a text that's in the beginning, once you figure out what that claim is, then you need to start pulling out reasons that support it. Find the support to her claim. If she's saying that the Titanic is awesome, she's going to give us a bunch of reasons why that ship was awesome. If she has a claim that the Titanic was a lousy ship that was dangerous and should never have done what it did, then she's going to give us reasons to support that. She's going to find supports to her claim. And then also, a lot of authors use images, illustrations, diagrams, text features to support their claim. In this instance, it's an illustration that is not a real photograph, but is an illustration of what was actually going on when the Titanic sank. And we need to find out, is that picture supporting the author's claim about what she's saying about the Titanic? So we're looking at words that support it, but also illustrations, images in the text that also support it too. So let's get reading. Remember, you're looking for that claim and the reasons that support that claim. Remembering the Titanic by Andrea Silin. The Titanic is one of the saddest sinking ship stories in history. On the night of April 14, 1912, the Titanic chugged through the cold waters of the North Atlantic Ocean. It had over 2,200 people on the ship, and they had no idea how unsafe the ship was. So just some cool facts about it. But I want to go back to the very first sentence. The Titanic is one of the saddest sinking ship stories in history. That's the first thing that this author said. So I'm already thinking, she's probably thinking that this is going to be a text that is talking about the Titanic, but not in a happy way. How great and big and glamorous that the ship is, but more of the sad part of the story. So I kind of already have an idea of what she's going to be talking about. And she also made it very mysterious. How she said it was over 22,000 people or 2,200 people on the ship, and they had no idea how unsafe the ship was. She didn't give us any clues how unsafe it was, even though most of us know why it was unsafe. But she's kind of giving clues that this ship was a bad idea. It's a sad story. It was unsafe, and how the poor people on board had no idea. So I kind of got an idea that the claim that she's making is that this is not, the Titanic was not a good thing. So let's keep reading and see if we can find reasons to support that. The Titanic was a great ship, but it also had many things wrong with it. For example, many of the bolts and screws that held the ship together were made of weak metal. The ship was also sailing way too fast. The captain wanted to get to New York in time. The bottom of the boat was not built to handle any flooding. Experts also believe the ship did not have binoculars. The binoculars were kept in a closet that were locked, and the keys were lost. The worst part about the Titanic was that it only had 20 lifeboats. If the ship did not start to sink, or if the ship did start to sink, only half of the passengers would be able to fit in the lifeboats. The water the ship was sailing in was too cold for a human to swim in. If the boat did sink, your only chance of survival would be in the lifeboats. Oh my gosh, so many reasons. So the screws and bolts that held the ship together were not very good. It was going way too fast. There was no binoculars. The ship wouldn't be able to handle if water got into it if it started to flood. There was only 20 lifeboats, and that's not enough to hold all the people if the ship did start to sink. So a lot of things that are not good about the Titanic. So I'm thinking, at the beginning when we said that how she thinks the Titanic is a sad story and it was unsafe is what her claim is, she definitely just gave a bunch of supports for her claim. So I think we have a good idea of why she wrote this text. All right, so last paragraph. 4 days after setting sail, the Titanic struck an iceberg that tore a 30-foot hole in the front of the ship. The hole could fit 6 school buses in it. Wow. As it flooded, people began to panic as they tried to find a spot in the lifeboats. Only 700 people would survive. That means less than half of the passengers made it out alive. The Titanic took 3 years to build, but it only took 3 hours to sink. Oh my goodness. So not really a lot of happy things in this story. It didn't talk about how the Titanic was, the biggest ship that was ever built in history, ever built at the time, because it was. It didn't talk about how there was a heated pool on board. There was a tennis court that people could go on, and they made gourmet meals for the very rich people that were on board. All good things about the Titanic. All this author, Andrea Silin, talked about was the bad things about the Titanic that caused it to sink. So I'm thinking that her claim in this is that the Titanic is a sad, unsafe ship. That's what I'm thinking her claim is. And the reasons that she has, the supports, is that it traveled way too fast. The nuts and bolts were weak. The ship flooded very easily. There were no binoculars to search for that iceberg that it ran into. And there was only 20 lifeboats, and definitely not enough to keep all the people on board safe whenever the ship was sinking. So the words in this text did a very good job of giving supports and claim to the claim that the Titanic was a very sad and unsafe ship. Should never have sailed. So now let's take a look at the illustration. It says this is an illustration on the Titanic sinking while people are in lifeboats and swimming in the freezing water. So this shows a picture of, it's kind of sad how there's people that are like hanging off of the oars of the little lifeboat, and there's people that are stuck in the water, and there's people that are actually still in the boat that are jumping off right now. And so I do think that this is kind of a sad picture. It's very dark. The water does not look very nice to be in, and obviously a ship is sinking. That's never a good thing. So I'm thinking that this illustration did a very good job of also supporting the claim that the Titanic is a sad story and an unsafe ship to be on. So again, I think the author did a great job of picking an illustration that supported her claim, but also using words in the writing to support the claim that she had about the Titanic being an unsafe and not a very, very sad story. So now what your job is whenever you go into your text and it's about bugs, how they're good at hiding and the reason why they hide. And on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, today you're just going to write what you learned from this video. Tomorrow on Tuesday, you're going to read the text and then you're going to give me just some information about the two bugs that are in it. There's a katydid and a walking stick. And just tell me what you learned about those two bugs. And then after that, you're going to be talking about what the claim is the author is making. Are they making a claim that those bugs are disgusting and gross and you shouldn't have anything to do with them, or are they making a different claim? And then as we go on through the days, you're going to be digging deeper and trying to find actual sentences in the text that are the supports for that claim, reasons that support those claims that the author made. And then you're actually going to start looking at the two pictures, the two photographs of the two bugs that are in there, and you're going to tell me with your own words how those two pictures support the claim that the author makes. And so remember, if you guys have any questions, please contact your teacher and she'll be more than happy to help you. And if she can't help you, you're more than welcome to contact Miss Acton. Have fun, and don't forget to do your math and your language mechanics for this week too. I miss you guys so very much, even my Miss Ramos and Miss Jessica's. And you guys please stay safe, keep washing your hands, and I hope to see you guys soon on another video. Bye guys.